What would you think about expanding the playoff format?
Unpack that. What do you mean by that?
So the idea was to kind of copy what the NBA did. They now, and again, they have 30 teams, not 32. But the idea would be, as you look at the standings on the screen, the top three in the Central, locked in. Top three in the Pacific, locked in. But then you add two more wildcard teams. And the 7 seed plays the 8 seed. Winner gets the 7 spot. Loser plays the winner of the 9 seed and the 10 seed. So if you're 9th or 10th, you're on your last life. You got to win that 9 versus 10 game. Loser goes home. Winner goes on to play the loser of 7 and 8 in kind of a page playoff style bracket.
You love the page system.
I do love the page system. And then if you're the 7 or 8 seed, you get a bit of a second life, right? You can either win that game. If you lose, you got to play another one. I like having
I'm torn.
Yeah, me too. I like having 16 of 32 teams make the playoffs. I think that's good. This doesn't really change that. What it does is it allows the NHL to basically start with 2 game 7s in each conference in a matter of a couple of nights. That would be electric. The other thing it does, this year is maybe a little different. There's a bit of a race in the East because there's 3 teams that could take 2 playoff spots. In the West, there are 4 teams that are in the hunt for 3 teams that are in the hunt for 1 final playoff spot. There's a bit of a race. What this would do is it would create a lot of races. There would not only be the race to get that 10th seed and keep your season alive, there would be a push to be the 9th seed because you'd want home ice in that 9 versus 10 game. There would be a push to get into the 8th seed because then that gives you 2 lives. The 7th seed, well, you have home ice for potentially both of those elimination games if you were to lose the first one. Then you'd want to be pushing for that final division spot because you want to avoid the play-in altogether. Then you'd still be pushing for the 2nd spot in your division to have home ice in that series. It would just create all of these spots and all of these built-in little advantages for being a bit of a better seed.
The entertainment value, like I'm all for.
It would.
But like if you're the 7 seed and you're 12 points ahead of the 9th and 10th seed, like they did their work, man.
And but one, it's rare to see that big of a gap between the 2 teams. Like if they were to do that this year in the West and just run it 1 through 10, Nashville would have the final spot as of right now. I know games in hand could mess with it, but just for the example, like Seattle would play Winnipeg. Okay, there's only 2 points separating them right now. Calgary would play Nashville. There's 1 point separating them. Between Edmonton and Seattle, there's 3, but that would be the big gap, right? If we were the Oilers, as Oilers fans right now, we'd be sweating out. Get that 6 seed. Like every game would have so much more meaning right now.
I think I'm out.
Yeah, I'm torn. Like I get it from an entertainment point of view, but like, man,
I'm thinking so in the NBA, you have the play-in or whatever it is, right? And it is entertaining for that game, but those teams then get in the playoffs and do nothing. So are you just diluting your playoffs a little bit by getting worse teams potentially in?
And
one
bigger
thing
advantage for top seeds in the conference because you're playing a team that just had to play 2 wins.
But then a team that's busted their ass. Sorry to interrupt, Ian.
That's okay.
Ian, I just called you Ian. Liam.
Call me whatever you want.
Or sorry, I might have said Iam actually. Silent L. Once again, you bust your ass to be 7th.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through this tournament and then hop into the playoffs.
Finish 6th won't be a problem.
I get it. Right now it's finish in the top 8 and it's not a problem. Like it's
I think one thing it would also do is make your trade deadlines probably worse.
It waters them down because now there's 4 more
competitive teams.
Yeah,
the pool of players probably isn't good enough to pick from. This year's trade deadline was amazing. The whole 2 weeks leading up to it, and I would rather have that than have the Calgary Flames or the St. Louis Blues push for a wild card spot. A play-in spot. And I just think the whole format needs to change if you would do that. Like, I don't think you'd be able to do divisions like they do anymore. You'd probably just have to go to a straight 1 through, I guess, 10 at this point. Yeah. And then I think the league would need more teams, but the league is also struggling right now with talent as it is. Like, bottom teams don't have enough talent to expand.
Yeah.
So I don't hate your idea, but I'm not with it. Sorry.
Fair. Worth floating out there. And I did kind of say at the end of my article that, I like the way it is now. I'm fine with it. I'm even fine. Like, a lot of people are clamoring for them to go back to 1 versus 8 in the playoff picture. But then I think you got to just, like Liam said, get rid of divisions at that point because there's no point in them. If you're going to have divisions, there has to be meaning behind them.
Yeah.